try this again. Jesus Christ, wait. Let's get it on Twitch. Give me the creator dashboard. Or maybe I can do this on my tablet. Yeah, I know a lot. Let me change the information, you silly goober. I'm trying to. This is not 180. I already did that. Alright, try this. Let's switch on my tablet. I want to do a video today covering the Egghead arc. Specifically the last, what is it now? 9 chapters. Steam Manager. Hold on a second. I've been trying to edit the Steam. Come on. Egghead arc. Run to the Zoom. Come on. Please let me say this. Come on. An unknown error occurred. Alright, well, screw it. Anyone who's maybe tuning on to this, I am trying to do a video. I want to discuss several points covering the last several chapters, and unfortunately, I can't update the title. I already did chapter 1088. I gotta upload the video on YouTube, or I think you can still watch it here as well. Like I might edit it down, but I want to go over several points today about a lot of stuff that happened, especially regarding the last few chapters and some other things that caught my attention. Things I didn't even realize with some of the stuff that happened in this here. Sorry about that. So I guess the first thing I wanted to go over. Where should I start? I guess I should go over some of the stuff they have with Blackbeard and Garb on Blackbeard's island. Such as I just realized too that Blackbeard when he gets back is probably not going to be too. It's going to have like some feeling not as having as good a day as he thought he was going to, because he did succeed in a number of things recently, but not as many as he wanted. First of all, the first thing he succeeded in successfully was well, I don't think he did this himself. It was that they do have who was doing it when it was Kuzan and someone else. They caught they have Pudding in their possession. Pudding Charlotte or Charlotte Pudding, however you say their name, do that in one piece. Use his last name first, right? They I should bring this camera back just a little bit, shouldn't I? I don't need it on my face that much. They captured Pudding. I think Kuzan and what's the sniper's name? They're the ones that went there to were able to get and infiltrate Totland, while Big Mom and a lot of the others had left to help at Wano, and they got Pudding because that's the person. I wonder too, how did Blackbeard find out about her? How did they find out that she, three-eyed person lived there, and why is it she's the only one they know about? Because we still don't know anything about. We don't know much about many of the parents of Big Mom's children, the fathers, except for those twins. I can't think of their names now either. They we know that Big Mom wanted to have found out through her because she's got some kind of network of finding information, and it seems Blackbeard likewise has. So she did it with a three-eyed tribesman and had Pudding and ditched him like she does with all her other husbands, and she wants Pudding, when Pudding awakens her third eye, they can read the road poneglyph. So Oddly enough, it's funny if people know so much about Nico Robin. I'm surprised more people haven't been gunning for her. In theory, it probably would have been a lot easier to do that because the Strides up until recently still were pretty low on a totem of like compared to the Yonko. Um, but no, Blackbeard decided he wanted to get Pudding, and he has her in his custody or possession now. We saw her at the last when Blackbeard had ambushed Law. I think that was like what chapter was that? 1063 maybe. And so he's got Pudding, but he also wanted to get. He tried to go after himself. He personally did this himself around the same time. He tried to personally go after and capture Boa right after the warlord system was disbanded, and he was unable to get her. And he came there with a good shroud too. He came there. He had Vasco and Katerina with him, and unfortunately, he came up against two levels of resistance. The first, I kind of am disappointed they didn't show more of, and that was the that he fought with S-Hawk, one of the Seraphim. Yet we did not get to see how that fight really went down. What happened there? The last bit they showed, I think, is first S-Hawk comes and blocks his attack, comes after him, and Blackbeard blocks the attack, then uses his black vortex or something. And then when he finally gets to he's finally able to get to a Boa, Rayleigh showed up and diffused the situation. So he didn't get Boa, but he was able to get Kobe as a consolation prize in the end. And he first was going to take a bunch of Marines and probably use them as slaves. And he got Kobe. So first, as far at that point, he had like he's got Pudding and he's got a bargaining chip. He wanted the devil fruit, but he got that. Excuse me. Then he's able to successfully ambush Law, and he defeated him, which will be a nice notch on his how do you say, notch on his belt. But he what do you say, how do you say, he was not able to capture Law either. Beppo was able to escape with Law into the sea. And it makes me, I'm a little worried that some Law's other crew members may have been captured there. Law wanted to go back and save them, but if some of them were in the sea, that the ones in the sea that were in the submarine, Beppo reassured Law, like, we have to have faith in them because we're from the North Blue and we can survive. We're survivors. So there's that. So he's there though. He's got Pudding and he's got Kobe, but he lost two Devil Fruit users. He wanted, but in this case too, he also got consolation prize and finally getting some of the rubbings that he needs. So now he's got Pudding in the rubbing. So in a way, he's good that way because he doesn't have two Devil Fruit users that he wanted, but he's got Pudding in the rubbing. And I think they only got 3 of the rubbings, correct? I still need the 4th one. We don't know what that one is. I keep trying to think. Is that right? There's the one on Zoe, the one on Whole Cake, and the one on Wano. I think, right? And so he's got that. But and also one other win he's got Moria locked up too. At this is something else I was going to go over too. I thought maybe we didn't know. I'll go over that in a minute. So he apparently did. I had to reread the chapter when Kobe escaped. Was it 1080? But yeah, Moria is locked up there. Apparently, it's still alive, the way Perona says it. So he has Pudding, he has Kobe, and he has Moria. And he's planning on using probably stealing. So he does have one Devil Fruit user that he wants to find a good user for that fruit. I'm guessing Lafitte must have a Devil Fruit already then, because if he's holding on to Moria, it means he wants to wait until he can find a proper person to give it to. So he's got them, but now he's about to come back to after he's finished now just defeating Law, he's about to come back and find that his island's fucked up again, worse than before, I'm sure, than the Rocky Port incident, which oddly enough involved Law and Kobe, and that Kobe's escaped, but and now he has Garp as another consolation. So he just keeps getting these little consolation prizes. So first he had Kobe instead of Boa. He got uh, he got what was the other thing I said? He got the rogue poneglyph. Yeah, and then he's got Garp as a prisoner, and but now he's also lost Moria supposedly. That's the next thing too. He's Perona did to Kobe in that chapter. I'll help you get out if you help me get Moria out. And that's all we ever see of that. I think that's 1080. And we never see anything of that bit again in this as of yet. So I'm wondering if let me see. I think it's this chapter. Yeah, 1080 Hero Legend. Here we go. So he's there. There's the captains. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I had to team up with a pirate, called me by amount of options. Yeah. So, yeah, now he can't, he didn't, now, so Cole, at this point, he's not going to be too happy because of all the things he really wanted. All he really has now is two different, he has the best thing of all that he's won recently, Blackbeard will be having pudding and the rubbings. Because his consolation prizes now is he's got Garp instead of Kobe, and all three of the Devil Fruit users he wanted escaped. Law, out of it, or not escaped, but you know, kind of Law, Boa, and Moria are supposedly all escaped. So he's going to be kind of pissed, I think, at that part, because that's part of his main plan too. Is he always wants to have, he likes having all these he wants these extra devil fruits to bolster his power. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna be a bit pissed right now because he may have the rubbings, but he dreadfully, I'm sorry, dreadfully, no, dearly wanted those other devil fruit users, especially a bit Moria. I would feel like out of the three, so Law as well, probably, because he wanted to have the he was hoping to probably get Law to make him immortal. So yeah, Blackbeard's having some wins and losses recently, and I can't wait to see how that's gonna be pan out there in a little bit. And also, though, I think he's about to head to. Isn't he about to arrive on sending? He's probably sending someone to. Let me see what chapter is. He's sending someone to the island, right? Let's see, was that? Let's see. Uh, I know they showed that somewhere where some ship was coming up. So he's probably about to have maybe I don't know how what his involvement there is about to become. Let's see, 1077 was that? I should know as soon as easy. The fighting hand. What chapter was that? Uh, hmm. I don't know. Okay, I'll have to check that out later. So yeah. And also on the idea of something a side bit too with the fight that happened there on with Garp and the captains at Honeycomb Island. I was a little disappointed at when I was as I was thinking about it afterward that we could not see Garp go up against Jesus Burgess because we've just got a great demonstration now in these what was it, four chapters, I think. Yeah, four chapters together of Garp's fighting prowess, and we see extremely strong, and we got Jesus Burgess, who stands out as a strong guy. And we learned about 20 something chapters ago that he has a devil fruit that also uh, gives him even more immense strength. So I would have really liked to see how he that would have played up between the two of them. And this goes nicely into something else too. Um, I'm wondering too with Garp, because there's something going on. There's a trope here with the One Piece story here is doing, and some other anime does this a lot, especially with like Dragon Ball Z, particularly with like the Saiyans, where if you train a lot, you can keep getting stronger. Especially in the 1087, um, Brand New is out at that wreckage yard with a couple other Marines, and he makes a point of saying something like uh, that the strength from Kuzan and Garp was not merely from their given to them at birth, that they trained hard to gain that strength, and that's why Garp, especially with Garp, is so extraordinary. And as we just saw in 1088, this is the same with Kobe now. So I am wondering. That makes me think about Big Mom and Kaido in particular. I wonder if they at their age, because they're both younger than Garp, and I have a feeling, especially Big Mom, but Kaido kind of looks like this too, because he's a drunk. I wonder if they haven't been really training as much in the last 20 something years or more. Um, Maybe for Big Mom, almost longer since she. I'm wondering since uh, the the incident at God Valley, because I have a feeling around that time might have been when she picked up on the. I should look at the kids at the ages. That she would have like been uh, going into this plan of hers to have more children, to create her empire, her army, and then she just wouldn't have a lot of time for training, and she just become a glutton, and so she wouldn't be training as much. And Kaido likewise, he just became bored, and he was prepping his empire of sorts on Wano to um, prepare to go after the One Piece and just start this great war. And I'm just thinking, I wonder if like even though like see, I think Kaido's 59 and Big Mom's about 68, 69. If Garp even now, I think that he could take them on easily because he's still keeping up on his training all the time, and they just have not done that. Like that, given this anime logic where if you keep training, you can stay strong. Like in here, they still have a certain point of like you're getting older and they're not as strong as you used to be. Garp and Rayleigh have both made comments about that in this story. I still feel like the way that Big Mom and Kaido and their lifestyle has been that they probably, despite being 20 and 30 years, about no 10 and 20 years respectively younger than uh, Garp, could not hold a candle to him now fully because they kind of become lazy essentially. Uh, let's see. Back to Moria Perona now. I'm hoping they did escape here, and I'm wondering like where could they have ended up going now that they uh if they escaped. Like also we don't know exactly how Perona got there because we know Mihawk is not with her now. He he's currently on the island there where Buggy is, him and Crocodile, and they are working on their plan for this utopia. Well, that probably has got derailed now because of Buggy's proclamation of sorts to his crew that's going to probably force their hand into seeking out the One Piece. Oh yeah, just get rid of this. Yeah, so I wonder, what was I saying about that? Oh yeah, Perona. So Perona ended up it found out through the news that Mario was still alive. I think that was done in the intermission of the uh Wano, right? So in the intermission Wano, we see her in uh yeah, and that's right. That's at the same time when Reverie was still going on. Because so the Wano arc was happening after we saw the Reverie arc, but it's happening concurrently. Or at least the beginning of Wano, I'm sure. And Prona saw that Mori's still alive and he was spotted, and she wanted to go to see him. And I just know that I remember that I know Mihawk didn't want to go with her, and then the last thing they showed her that was that I believe they just showed that he talked about how the Reverie was talking about ending the warlord system, so he was concerned about that. And then the next time we see him, they don't show Perona. They show a fleet of Marines uh, coming to his island to try and arrest him, and him getting quite excited at the prospect of being hunted again, which eventually wore off quickly, and then Crocodile got him to work together, for them to work together. So how did Perona get there? She ended up there somehow. We saw that in chapter 1080. So we hadn't she had Kobe help her get him out, and then we saw the battle take place between the Marines and the and the uh, excuse me, the the pirates on the island. So Moria and Perona were nowhere to be seen. So she probably just they got the hell out of there. Hopefully they were able to. I'm trying to think where they show that they were, because the main battle happened toward the center slash maybe a little more toward the front of the island, and I don't think the prisons were there. They're probably closer to the skull, which eventually became part of the battle at the end. But hopefully that gave them enough time to escape. So now this begs the question: where would they go? I wonder if those two would have ended up, or end up like trying to get the band back together. Well, they don't have Absalom anymore because he's almost certainly dead, according to that. So does that mean um, will they get Doctor Herlock at least? Because we don't know him. We never saw him again, did we? they all left Thriller Bark, and they found out about Moria being summoned to um, Marineford because they knew that Whitebeard was about to make a move for to come rescue Ace, and I don't think they show any of them again. And we only found out in a retrospect that Absalom was also there at Marineford and helped Moria escape when Doflamingo was trying to kill him on orders from the Gorosei. Uh, so I'm just so either Moria maybe will try and do something himself again, or I'm thinking he'll maybe I wonder if he would try to uh go work with someone else. Who that could be? What kind of groups are out there? Because he went up to see, what did he do when he went up to what happened at first when he went up to meet Blackbeard? Was that because he was looking for Absalom? I think it was. And so I'm just wondering if Moria would submit to working under someone else, or some kind of let's say another alliance. That could be something. Maybe there could be another alliance because we got two warlords now, or three really, that have become together, and now they're essentially part of a Emperor crew. Buggy, uh, excuse me, yeah, Buggy, Crocodile, and Mihawk. So what else we have? We have Moria, who's not a warlord anymore though. We have Boa, who just got disbanded, and there's uh, the what's the Whitebeard supposed son? Weevil. He's in prison though, and Law's not one. What am I missing? Weevil, Law. Wait, who are the other warlords? I'm trying to think of someone that Warrior would want to work with. Seven warlords. Yeah, Doflamingo. He's in prison too. I don't think he'd want to work with Doflamingo. Jinbei, of course, is with the Straw Hats now. Where are their list? Here we go. Oh, Kuma, and Kuma's back at Marijois. Huh, there's really not much he could do unless he tried to do something with Boa. Because Doflamingo Weevil in prison, Crocodile, Mihawk, and Buggy are working together. I don't know if he'd want to work with them. That would be something. I was just mulling around in my head a little while ago. If he worked with them, him and Perona, I'm thinking they'd go back there because Perona would convince him to do it because she'd want to go back and be with Mihawk, even though she'll certainly not admit it to Moria, I think. But if she did, uh, just think of how much more all their bounties would go up. Uh, we because what are they now? Like 3.5 for Mihawk, 3.1 or so from Buggy, and 1.9 for Crocodile. Uh, I don't know. I guess Buggies would be the main one to probably go up. Uh, they even has someone updated his bounty at 1.965 million. One okay. Uh, yeah. So, anyways, I'm just thinking how much of a new force that could be against the other on what we got with the other Marie sorry Yanko already with because we already got because we got like White Blackbeard and his 10 captains. We got the Straw Hats, which are just the 10, but they do got their fleet, which is probably probably among the weaker fleets. Though I don't know how Blackbeard's fleet would stack up against Luffy's. No, and then with Whitebeard and we know that Red. We just realized that wait for them to go by. Shanks's allies are supposedly are not supposedly according to Kid. They are the weakest of the people in the new world. So that's a handicap for him. And then we don't know a whole lot of the extras that Buggy has, but it's just him, Crocodile, and Mihawk who are the real top dogs. And Buggy has some decent crew members there, like the one guy the animal guy, and the other guy who fought Zoro. But those guys easily lost to Zoro and Luffy a long time ago, and I don't know if they've been training. And there's Alvida's there too. Maybe she's been training. Alvida, I would love to know if Alvida's gotten a better bounty about now. So she it'd be very interesting to know where Buggy Moria and Perona are heading off to now. There's just not a lot for them to do. I don't even know. Is Thriller Bark even still around? Did they destroy that utterly? I know they destroyed his castle pretty bad, but the ship itself is probably okay. Um. Anyways, yeah. Let me get a sip of water. I want to go a couple things. So I did a stream the other day too, a couple days ago, but the audio on it was terrible. So I'm going to go over some of that stuff here again too. First and foremost, being probably Morgan's. I'm wondering what Morgan's. I'm thinking about Morgan's. I'm worried he's going to get himself in trouble here very shortly, especially because he's protecting Wapple and Vivi, and there's a few angles here that are important. The first angle I really want to go over is that he's starting to go out on his own and post stories that the world government doesn't want him to. He started to post something back in the beginning near Wano that they didn't want him to, and they had a cipher pull agent there to try and force his hand. But this was a low level cipher pull agent because Morgan's knocked the fuck out of that guy by himself. And I'm still not sure what that story was supposed to be. I should have looked that up. But Morgan's, I'm worried he's going to get into trouble here because if he starts going out and spreading more stories that the government doesn't want, and I'll get to which one, I think he's going to get snuffed out. The Cypher Zero is going to be sent after him. And I don't think his little ship thing is going to be enough to protect him. And the main thing I'm worried about here is that if he decides to spread the story of what Wapol just saw uh, at Reverie, that this is going to be the final straw, that Eames going to tell Gorosei, get someone on that guy and kill him now. This We can't have this going around. We got to stop this story. And I know there was a phrase about how a rumor can get around the world before the truth. I'm sure that the world government, they can try and shut this up before it really gets bad. Only if the world, I think, only if the Revolutionary Army starts bringing it up can it really spread more. But I just want to see how much not Wapol, Morgans is willing to risk his life and his business to spread this story. Will he do this? Is he willing to go that far? Will he risk his life over his journalistic integrity that he thinks he has? Although I think him lying about Luffy in a story for the entertainment is puts quite the stain on what he claims his integrity is. Because they're about to report that story. We know that's going to get reported somehow, though, because the ending of this last chapter 2 points out it's going to be some kind of siege now. So he's definitely going to report that. And I wonder how much of the truth he'll change that will still piss off the Gorosei as well, or Im. And another topic of that, too, when Dragon and Sabo were just having this meeting a little bit ago, Dragon thinks that the papers, I guess primarily Morgan's, I would think, are gonna be blocking stories about what happened with the other 7 successful revolutions that he and the captains all just instigated. And I'm wondering if he's going to be right about that. Basically, will Morgan's change his mind on that? Will he cover that one up because he doesn't want trouble, or because I know the Gorosei are going to definitely want that because they're going to worry about other nations. Because so he's going to worry about other nations they'll worry about the Gorosei and Ian will be worried about other nations that will see this and become more inspired themselves. Because to give you a little, I study history. I'm an amateur fan, big time fan though of history, and I was listening to this podcast about the Persian Empire, the one that Alexander the Great took down, and throughout their their lifespan, they had a lot of rebellions happen. And this is typical in other empires, but I can't think of any good examples of other ones off the top of my head. Oh, well, I can think of the Roman Republic. Well, it wasn't an empire officially, but it was this was toward the end of its life. It was essentially empire, had a lot of territories, had similar problems. So what I'm getting at, what I'm sure is this is why Dragon is saying this, to relate back to the world government One Piece for a moment. There will be other nations that will begrudgingly be in the world government bubble because they can't no way to fight back and get out. They know the goal, in this case, the world government is supreme, that they'll send people like Cypher pulling after them. And so to use one of the examples I'll use the Roman Republic one in the real life history. During the Roman Republic, at one point the Roman Republic gets into this big civil war amongst itself in Italy, and there are places in the eastern area that they control, which is like Turkey, modern day Turkey. They see this, and under the leadership of this one king, they start a rebellion and kill off a lot of Romans who are living there, probably like businessmen and their family. They kill a whole bunch of them and want to throw off the throw off the yoke of the Roman rule, because they figure if Rome is fighting itself here, this is our chance to defeat them, fight back, because they look weak. Likewise, here in the One Piece story, they will look weak. The Gorosei, the world government here is going to start looking weak to other nations if they find out through the papers, or maybe they can find out other ways. But this is where dragon, saying that the newspapers will hide the information. He is sure of it. That way, if that's the best source of information in the One Piece world. I'm a little surprised actually. It just made me think: how come they don't use? How come no one has realized they can use dented mushies like radio? Yeah, there's something for an entrepreneur or person there. Anyways, yeah, they'll hide this information because there's other nations will see that the hey maybe our chances of leaving the world government aren't so bad after all these other places. Also, by the way, too, that these other places are. Let me finish. I keep doing that. These other places are getting thrown off this rule. Also, this is not just them leaving the world government. A lot of these nations doing this are upset because some of them are under terrible leadership, such as how Wapple was at Drum Island. Essentially, that's what essentially happened there at Drum Island too. And is a nation that's underneath the rule of a terrible king. He fled initially when Blackbeard came there too. By the way, he tries to come back and establish his order, his rule again, and with the help of Luffy and the other Straw Hats, but not many of the Straw Hats actually helped. I just reread that chapters. It's I think it was like Zoro didn't even get into major fights there. Sanji was briefly in a fight with that one enemy, but it was Luffy, Sanji, and Chopper that warded off these him and kicked him out of the country. And what's his name? Dalton took over as the new king. He was like kind of like elected as a king in this case. I wonder how the world government thought about that. Like, but they probably didn't think much of it because Drum Island's a pretty small nation. It doesn't seem like there's that many villagers there and stuff. I bet if something like that happened with when Crocodile did that, if he had succeeded, they would have been, or some other way like that, they would have been quite upset at like seeing stuff like that happen, and that would have essentially turned one of the largest nations into this new pirate paradise thing, kind of like Wano, more like because really that's something too. There's a lot of parallels with what Crocodile did and what Doflamingo did, but what Doflamingo did it in such a sly way that he still kept Dressrosa as part of underneath the world government's control and got himself in as a warlord. Meanwhile, Crocodile was doing a plan that was essentially to put a country like that under his control. But the whole other difference was that he was gonna, what do you call it? Be taking that country away from being underneath the world government's control if he had gotten Pluton. And then he would have, if he had found Pluton there, he would have been able to ward off attacks from um, the Marines initially, at least. I don't know how this would have worked out for him if the admirals started coming, if they decided to, the Gorosei decided to deploy them, but at the very least, he would have been very successful there in making one of the great nations of the world government taken out and out of their coalition and then into his command so that he could fulfill his dream of going after Whitebeard and becoming Pirate King. Oh, where's that? That's not the notes. What was that other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about? So where was I going with that? Oh, I lost my train of thought here. Oh, something else too I didn't realize when I was looking back at this. I did not realize until I was watching Tekken's uh, review of 1088. That Marines can learn the six powers, the thing that we first saw with Cypher Pole. I had always assumed that that was a skill set that was kept within their circles, and that they uh taught to those people for their stealth and assassination nation operations that they use through under the Gorosei's will. Because that's apparently that is what uh excuse me, Kobe used when I was using that chapter and I was saying, oh, Kobe's in midair. What Kobe was doing was using the, I think it's the Geppo, the only one I can remember off the top of my head. Uh, that's the one where you can stay in the air in order to get in front of the Pizarro's gigantic hand and use his uh, honesty punch to destroy it. And also, there's the technique that he used when I was checking back the episode where he met Luffy at the end of Eni's lobby. Uh, he used the I think it's yeah, it's called Soru, and it's a technique the government teaches Marines and the Cypher Pole to use to go really fast. Um, and so he's learned how to use that, and also that looks to me that what I'm guessing that was what Garp used when he dashed up the island in order to provide that distraction against Pizarro. He zigzagged around like like a pinball. I'm thinking he was probably using Soru as well because I just didn't think that would be something he could move that fast. So that, yeah, I just was totally oblivious to this idea. I just had forgotten that about that with especially with Kobe using it. 'Cause I don't remember anyone else using it, but I guess there's some other examples here of some others using it. But where was that? They showed Luffy can use one. Yeah, so some of these other Marines learned how to use it. I know Sanji learned something that was like Geppo, but I didn't really think about it like that. So yeah, I'm just oblivious to that they could end up learning uh what is it again? Sorry, the six powers that's possible for them to learn that, and I just wonder if that's some of these six powers are ones that could, if people like Luffy learn them, if that would really help with them uh, augmenting their superhuman abilities even more so. So I know he wouldn't probably need. I think there's the one that's like Iron Body. I'm sure that's not when it's as necessary because there's armament hockey now. Uh, is that it? Or is it Taka? Yeah. Yeah. So there's that one, but I don't think that's one that like is necessary if you know how to use armament hockey. Maybe it's like a good alternative, but yeah. That's also something to his superhuman speed, as they got that Soru. But I've seen that like Luffy learned how to use Gear Second, which is like unique for him. But I know like Zoro can definitely move quite fast too. Like I just was rewatching the episode where he fights Baroque Works, and there's at one point he's on top of the a building, one of their tall buildings, and then they all about to fire at him, and he disappears, and he's a second later he's down and amongst them on the ground, messing around with them, toying with them essentially too. What do you call it? Uh, looking up where he just came from. So clearly, like it's not necessary. So I'm wondering if this is like a technique they just teach them. I mean, with Luigi, it looks like something they would teach no matter what. But I'm thinking like someone like Khalifa, or and you got like the case of like Nami. They would benefit from learning these techniques because there are just humans, a lot of humans in the One Piece world that are not superhuman. So it's not really a necessary for them all to learn it. No, sorry, I said that wrong. My brain's getting tired. I should have more coffee. It's something that it would be necessary for normal people who join into some kind of dangerous work. So maybe a lot of Marines should end up or are forced to learn some basics of this as well, and that's probably why that probably is what's helping with Kobe here, at least initially. I mean, he's got that much strength to use that punches we saw. I'm sure he doesn't always have to use those techniques, but I'm sure that will benefit him. Like, and it must have benefited him in his initial training to start learning those techniques so that he could, while his body is learning to become stronger, to the point where he's on par with high level characters like Luffy, Garp, Big Mom, etc., etc. Hmm. Oh, so what else did I have? I had some other things. I talked about some other stuff the other day. Uh, oh, that's all my notes I had. But I was talking about some other stuff in my other video. What did I forget? Let me mute this a second and take a look here. I know I forgot something. Yeah, I found the other things I forgot to talk about. I'm just gonna take a quick bathroom break and I'll be right back. I got like a few more things I forgot that I want to go over again that I was chatting about in another stream. I'll be right back. Ah. Still can't update this info. God damn it. What's going on with you, Twitch? I can't update my info on Twitch and label the stream properly. I don't freaking get it. Yeah, one of the other things. One of the other things I kind of went over the other day. I'll just do better. I want to do here. What? Open. Wait. We recommend what? Audio stream bitrate of 128. Okay. I don't know how to adjust that. What I want to go over next was Dragon's next step in taking out the Gorosei, or the world government's hierarchy. Because now he's got more to mull over after what Sabo brought up. But even before that, I'm wondering what he was planning on doing with after Sabo and the others their expedition there. So they went there. I sent Sabo and 3 of the other captains went there, and they wanted to rescue Kuma, basically openly declaring war too. And they attacked food stores that the Gorosei have there. And they were successful in these 3 things. Well, with the exception that Kuma has gone back now. Looks like. So they went there, and I'm wondering what they want to do. Wait a minute, what's this asking me about my stream thing? Hold on. Can I check that quickly? Settings, stream. How would I know that? Audio. Global audio releases. Sample, wait. What? I don't know. I'll have to just. Hopefully this video went up. Alright, never mind. I'll edit this out. So he sent them up there and did that, and I know from what they just said in their conversation here that part of what they're doing is to make the Tenryubito suffer, know what it's like to starve. So I'm wondering if that is that here? No. Next chapter probably. Also, I'm wondering why Betty, I think her name is, why she did not go up there. They don't need her, I guess. But let's see, make sure. Yeah, they wanted to show. Yeah, this is, I think, part of the messaging too. I was going over with the 7 how they successfully successfully made some of the other island. They successfully had some of the other several of these kingdoms rebel, and they want to have that as a message that they want to get that out there somehow. I'm assuming to make sure. Excuse me a second. I get this. Make sure that the other nations know how weak the government really is if you try hard enough. Yeah, and then he wanted to talk with the supply line. That's right. He's known as Flamenter. So the thing I'm thinking about is when they were up there, I wonder why they didn't bring more explosives or something with them. If they didn't find a way, they could have brought someone like with that giant could have helped traverse some stuff up there and destroy a lot more of it. It would certainly help, I think, to weaken them even more. It just seems like a plausible thing that I would have done. And I'm just wondering if this means they're not planning on taking down the Tenryubito per se, but they do want to go after the Gorosei, I would hope. And now they got enough for figure out how to deal with Eam, of course, as well. Also, now I'm wondering what Gaiakin's plan involves. I'm just watching my audio because he's aware of the Holy Knights. The Holy Knights, and we met the Saint Figureland, I think his name is, and he is the dragon says here this is when the real fighting will begin. So I'm just wondering how he's planning on taking that out, fighting them too, because this picture of them makes it appears that there are about 9 of them, and I'm not sure that their fighting power is enough there. He because unless those subordinates, because there's Dragon, Sabo, Ivankov, and then there's the other 4 captains. So there's 7 there. And they got those other subordinates that are second in command to the 4 captains, and as well as Koala. So that puts them at about, 8, 9, 11, 12? 12 of them. So maybe that's what they're planning with their fighting strength, that they to have themselves go up against those holy knights. But I just don't. I just have a feeling that it's only like really like the the four captains plus like Ivankov, Sabo, and Dragon that really are the strongest against that would have a chance. These holy knights, I just feel like they would have a I'm just speculating, of course, too, that they would have a physical prowesses, most of them, uh, up there with like the likes of like Big Mom or Kaido, and I just don't see that being likely with some of the other captains. So I just that part too just concerns me. So I mean, we don't know anything about Dragon's power, so it's really hard to say what is it that he's planning. Let's bring this down a little bit. So I was thinking too, is he gonna was he waiting to one thought I had in my head was he gonna wait to how do I say that? Was he gonna wait to have the Holy Knights deployed, maybe try and create a distraction to bring them somewhere else, and then try and go back and destroy Marijois, uh, which seems like a logical, sound strategy in most cases. But at the same time, I doubt any of these Holy Knights would ever fully that be would holy they would ever all leave the Marijois unguarded, especially now after um, they did this initial attack, which is going to stir up the bee's nest and put them on higher alert. So, yeah, I'm just not sure what he's planning there. And that's now that what's he going to do now? How might he change these plans? Because he understands. So he start with he knows that Eames there. He knows from Sabo there is some kind of weapon, and how was I going to say that? So is he gonna try to change his plans with that weapon? Because like now that he saw heard from Saba how that weapon works, will he be? I'm thinking like you better put some more sentries, guards out around your island there, just in case they somehow figure out where you are, Dragon. So you guys can get the hell out of there. I don't know if they brought all their leadership together here. This is to be a prime target now. Let's see what else next. Uh, because and I he now learned about the ancient weapons. He had learned about the ancient weapons from Robin, but I feel like he must not never took stock in them. And I even saw that like someone like I think it was Tekken was saying like he was surprised that Dragon didn't know about them before. But that works for me because Dragon seems like such a practical guy that he wouldn't care about that kind of stuff. He he's he's looking for how to probably. It looks to me that he's more like doing something similar to Crocodile, but without looking for that linchpin. He just is bringing together very strong opponents, and he must have some knowledge, though, two of them, to figure out how to their weaknesses. So I'm guessing he just can't care about the ancient weapons that much, or maybe he's been hoping he could get Vegapunk on his side to provide some kind of backup to take him out. But now that's obviously not going to work. At least it didn't look like it wasn't because Vegapunk wouldn't join them because they didn't have the money. But now I'm wondering too if Luffy managed to escape uh with Vegapunk, or at least one of them. Will he be able to go? Will he seek refuge with Dragon? Is that where Vegapunk will want to go, or will he go to Elbaf maybe too as an alternative? If he does go to here with Dragon, then with Dragon, I can just see it now where because they bring up two Ivankov too brings up like this looks like some kind of weapon he made, and Dragon here defends Vegapunk. Uh, yeah, I think Dragon's gonna get a little bit of a stare from Vonkov in a moment because when he finds out this is really Vegapunk's weapon. So I'm gonna be like, Vegapunk, what were you thinking building this thing? I'm wondering if Vegapunk had some other idea in mind and building this thing that they ended up using on Lucia. Uh, so yeah, what? Let's see, what else was that with that? So hopefully that's where Vegapunk ends up going because I think that's what that's what the Revolutionary Army needs to help fight fight the world government. Excuse me. Um, so another thing I wanted to bring up too briefly is to oh yeah, first with Garp. I'm just surprised with all this stuff happening with Dragon recently that we haven't really seen how much Garp is angry, whether he's angry with how he feels about what Dragon is doing. I should say. I'm gonna bring this back a little further. Because he's clearly upset where Luffy went. We saw this for quite a while now, just going back to Enies Lobby. Uh, and then we saw just recently that he was up in the little Kuzan flashback they had, that he was upset with how the dragon became a revolutionary. So he must have at some point hoped for this ties back nicely, I guess, into this chapter, last few chapters. He must have probably hoped that Dragon would have joined the military, and Dragon just didn't want to for some reason. I'm thinking maybe the stories of what happened at God Valley could have been one of the impetuses because Dragon would have been a teenager and Garp may have told him some of the stuff, and eventually he would have probably found out some other information along the way. We know that by the time he was in his early 30s or so, definitely ended, yeah, by 33, I think it was, he had formed a revolutionary army, and after O'Hara was determined to uh, uh, go up against the world government. So he had already been on a path there for some time, and that was the final straw for him. So what would that impetus have been? And anyways, how uh, so then Garp had put his hopes on Ace and Luffy, and that didn't work out either. And I'm just what I want to get at is we haven't seen at all what what his feelings have been about recently with this, with this attack on Reverie, for example, because it happened when he was nearby, too. Uh, we did see the only thing we saw there like that was that they were asking him. Some of the other Marines were asking him about like how do you feel about Luffy going after the Yonko or what was the other one they asked him when he found out about the Kaido and Big Mom's alliance. He was upset. Sorry, just a text. So clearly he gets upset with some of these things, but I'm just a little surprised that we haven't got Oda's holding that card close to his chest about what Dragon, how Dragon is currently feeling. Like, I'm sorry, what Garp is currently feeling, because he doesn't like the world government, but I don't know if he wants to see its infrastructure destroyed, or maybe he doesn't fully understand Dragon's plans. Because I doubt Dragon wants to do that. And we just didn't get anything about that, so I was just very surprised by that. Oh, so Figureland. I wanted to talk about this guy Figureland again a minute because this guy was interesting. Because now apparently this is Shanks' dad, which really blew me away. I didn't really believe this was the case, but also this brings up something interesting too. I'll bring that up later. So Figureland. Let's see. No, what was I saying? What's that? Tenryubito. Okay. So it says here how he distinguished himself at God Valley. So and then we saw the thing that I don't know where this is shown or came from, but I've seen it on the wiki that it's Shanks was found in a treasure chest at God Valley. So I'm wondering if like Shanks was probably born there, raised there for a little bit, and when the God Valley incident went down, he this guy here Saint Garling, I guess I'll just call him Garling, was there among the fighting, and this was something interesting now because everyone's linking back that statement that Whitebeard said to Shanks hundreds of chapters ago about my scar tingles when I see your face. And I saw some old discussions thinking that meant Roger, but it looks more likely now that what it is the is St. Garling because he Shanks. I don't see a resemblance here with the artistry myself, but supposedly he no they Whitebeard is quite aware of Shanks's father. If this is true, well, I guess it's supposed to be true for. Um. So I'm just wondering too how Saint Garling feels about this. Like initially, like he. So I'm guessing what happened the breakdown Saint God Valley with just a lot of conjecture. We know that we first know that Rox went there to do something, and Garp came to fight. But I'm guessing this is kind of what might happen here was kind of similar to what just happened with the attack on Reverie recently with the revolutionaries, where this guy was probably already here. In this case, kind of like the admirals were, and they showed up. He was fighting them off, but then Garp came in as reinforcements, and for some reason Roger was there, so he teamed up. So I'm picturing that this Saint Garling may have temporarily decided to help work was kind of working with Garp and Roger because they were working together. Maybe just circumstances that made them work together, and all hell was breaking loose. And I'm sure if there's a this sounds the way some of this sounds. I should slow it down. I'm guessing there could have been like a village, city there, or villages of the Senor Bito, and so his family may have been there as well as others, and that shit just got leveled in the fighting. And so this guy Garling may have figured that his son was dead, but Garp found Shanks in the rubble or something like that, and it wasn't until years later that Garling somehow figured out, God damn, my son's with this notorious pirate. When I had to work with temporarily to take out worse pirates at the time. So I'm just wondering how that will pan out too later. Also, that's interesting. If does Garling live here? I wonder. I wonder if Shanks said hi to him at all when I got to. Oh man, I wonder how, if Garling and Shanks said hi to each other all there while they were together, because they had that thing like we wouldn't talk to you about any other unless you it was only because it's you, Shanks. Uh, so him, I still think that's funny that they would even bother talking to Shanks, even though he's Garling's son, because then it was like, who cares? What can he want with us? Of course, if they know their intelligence, they probably know Shanks doesn't like Blackbeard, and maybe they're just like looking to work with him in a common cause, much like Roger worked with the others to fight um, uh, Zebek. And so he's like, okay, we'll work hear him out because we're sure he would want to work stop Blackbeard, and we feel like Blackbeard is the most dangerous pirate out there at the moment. So there's that. And I guess the probably the last thing I'll talk about. I wanted to bring up something I thought about with the Giants. I I have a feeling that when we get to Elbath, we may be able to find something interesting about the Void Century. And I realized, so the Void Centuries ended 800 years ago. Wouldn't that mean, because if the Giants, with their lifespan, that would only be about 3 lifetimes ago for some of them, or 4 if you go, something like that. There were giants around there that would know about it, and so they would have fresher knowledge of what happened there, and they probably, given that the giants have a unique perspective. So I'm hoping that when the Straw Hats get to there, that we're gonna find out something very interesting about that from that point of view. Also, because there might be, I wonder if there might be, it might have unique stores of knowledge there. But, well, hopefully there would, and because they appear to be like Vikings, right? So I think Vikings, right? They use like ruins. Well, maybe that's what one of the. Is that what the Poneglyph language? We don't know what the Poneglyph language is, but maybe they have a language that'll be like the ruins that the Runes that the Vikings used at that time. So maybe they have a language that Germanic people, right? Yeah, that looks similar to the poneglyphs at first glance. So, if they have like written stuff down, could be something there for Robin to look into that will help them. Actually, now that I think about that, could that be where the last poneglyph is then? We don't know the last. What? Wait, they didn't find the last poneglyph there? I wonder where the other poneglyphs were. Uh, Wait a minute. Is that all the poneglyphs? I thought they didn't have all the main poneglyphs. Wait, historical road, poneglyphs, Zoe, Cotland. Yeah, unknown. Yeah, the one on Fishman Island is gone. Oh, wait, they were saying it's no, no. All right, Zuki, who's that? Oh, that's right. The man. I didn't go over that either. So I was just thinking for a second though that the road poneglyph could be on Elbath, given how protected it is, and well governor. No one else seems. Many people have never been there. So uh, where was I going with this? Oh, the road. Yes. So with the Void Century, though, some of those people there would probably no one alive though that could talk about the Void Century because I think giants don't live more than what was it, 4 maybe 500 years. So we got 800 years. So we couldn't have anyone living. But we could still have someone there that can talk like, "Hey, my grandfather or father was there. I can tell you what they told me about the Void Century, and this is what our part in it was." And also, I would feel like they would be an ally to the ancient kingdom, whatever that might mean. Maybe the ancient kingdom or some other. Maybe I wonder if Oda would use some other kind of ancient civilization or something older, just like how Elbeth is based on uh, Viking, Scandinavian era stuff, and the then we got the Egyptian stuff in Alabasta. I wonder if he would pick some other thing, maybe something tropical or something. So they could tell him the Australians, yes, Nico Robin, we can tell you a bit about it, and we can point you to some information, or we can. They'll probably have even regular poneglyphs there, or at least one, to I think I slow down. At least one poneglyph that can help with some other information for sure. So and then even without that, now she's gonna get to go. Robin's gonna get to go meet what's his name, Jaguar. I think his name is Vice Admiral Jaguar. Again, because we have got confirmation in the 20 chapters ago that from Vegapunk that he is there with the with a vast stores of books from her home, from O'Hara's academy or whatever you'd call it, the library. The library, I think it was. It was probably an academy too there. So it was both. So this is going to be very important for Robin now. Now that Otis has bring up as well as for the for Usopp because he's been interested in going there since they met Dory and Bragi. So I really hope that this thing with the Giants and the Void Century I just thought of has some help because it can just like really clarify some things because all we know so far is somebody like Eam and maybe Dr. Kureha who are older than most characters in there. Maybe Eam. Kureha is definitely what 130 something. So we don't know what's up with that. Also, too, I was rereading Drum Island. Isn't she the first time we mentioned something about we hear mentioned? Excuse me, in the story about the will of D. maybe there's something there that could be learned on Elbath about that. Uh, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this video here for now, and I'll upload it. Maybe I should break this down to smaller videos, but I should break this down to some bite-sized videos, shouldn't I? So, anyways, yeah, those are all the topics I could think of right now about that I found of interest for now on stuff that Oda went over in the last several chapters of One Piece. So I can't wait to get back to the uh the main stuff now. We're finally gonna figure out what's going on in here, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So thanks for watching.